Hi guys, Scrapchallenge here. Now, this is going to look a little bit similar to a video you've seen before, but this is better. Because you can see behind me the main keep tower of my castle on the Creative Plot and the Hatventures server. Now, that was when I was still building everything. Now, everything's finished. Now, there are going to be the odd glitch here and there, so I apologise for that in advance. So, a lot of work has gone into this, and I'm going to give some credits out in a bit as to all the people that have helped me to achieve this. The majority of the buildings are mine. When it's somebody else's, I'm going to point out who built it. A few people actually were helping literally just in getting the walls up for this when I first started, just getting the walls up tight, which was a mammoth task. And I can't remember specifically who, but everyone who's registered on the plot I've added to the Hall of Fame, so you can see. So we're going to start off with the main castle and gatehouse. So we go in here, we've got redstone portcullises, we've got a murder hole up there. I'm going to try and do a flying tour. A lovely fountain in the middle. Unfortunately, I can't remember who it was that built that, and I'm really sorry about that, guys. This is the castle courtyard. Here we've got the half-timbered hall house with a cross passage here. We've got a byre on the left, on the right even, and we've got the great hall on the right with this Celtic knot wooden floor. We also have queen post and hammer beam roof beams up here. So let's go over into the byre first. The byre is another word for stable or barn. Now this is built on the same design as a very traditional Old English hall house, which was a kind of design which repeated again and again. So there are still examples of this style today, but I don't think any of them have actually still got the stables as stables. Most of them, or all of them, have now got this has been turned into extra accommodation over the years, but this is how it would have been originally, kind of. I had to kind of imagine it to a certain degree, but it would have certainly had animals in here. So these are the stables I've put in with mangers and water troughs and straw on the floor. I've put mossy cobblestone down here because it would have got sort of damp and mossy and icky with mucking out all the time. Now, I did an extension on here with slightly different wood and slightly different base to show it was built at a slightly different time. Different building materials were used at different times depending on what was either available or fashionable at the time. So to reflect the fact that this was built slightly after the original building, I used slightly different wood. So one of them's dark oak and the other one's like pine. And I've put it on a stone brick base instead of on the cobble base, which is representing a kind of clunch there. So if we go upstairs, this is the solar where the bedrooms would be. So we've got this all furnished now. There's a full poster bed and carpets and things. I'm pretty much not going to go into every room because that would just take forever. When you see the size of this plot, you'll see why. I'm not even going to go into every house, I don't think, because this video is going to take forever if I do that. So here we have the gallery, and then up here we have a minstrel's gallery. And then when you go up another level, there is servants' dormitory where I'd have lots of beds. Because there'd be a lot of servants on an estate this size. And another gallery, not essential, but I could, so I did. Let's just jump down here. Let's go over to the kitchen. So the kitchen is sometimes called a buttery, and not because of butter, and it's not a dairy or anything, because of butts of beer. It's like a measurement, it's like a cask or a barrel. The different sizes were given different names, the most common being a butt. Haha. So where you kept the beer and stuff was usually called a buttery. Now this is kind of a kitchen and buttery in one. So we've got a big table there for chopping stuff up. We've got a chopping board and some herbs in pots and things, some cauldrons over fire. The kitchen would usually be kept separately from the main building because of the high risk of fire. Now through here we've got more servants' quarters with a stamped clay floor. We have a simple bathroom there for them all to share, and then up here we've got more beds. It's quite cramped, but it would have been. Now back here we've got the kitchen garden. I'm using these to represent kind of herbs and such like, things like that. I have made it a little bit oversized, but I had this corner of the plot, so I thought, well, why not? So it's not exactly as it would have been, but it's close enough. It's somewhere that furnishes food for the main castle. Now this is the rear courtyard. I've used a mixture of cobble and gravel to mix it up a little bit. So in different shader packs, so in different texture packs, it may look slightly different. I'm trying to use vanilla just with the shader packs, so it just looks a bit nicer. Now back here, this sandstone is representing a kind of whitewashed stone build. Now this is the first watchtower, the back gate's over there, and this is stables with barracks above. Because by this point, with this estate expanding, the Lord of the Manor would have been expected to keep kind of a standing army for the service of the king. So up here we've got the barracks. I may have gone a little bit loopy with the carpet, sorry about that. So stack them high. Soldiers can go in bunks. I may have again made the bunks a little bit high, but never mind. So if we go back this way, back into the hall, and through here. And I say I'm rushing, but you'll see why I'm rushing, because otherwise this is going to take forever. This is the chapel. Every castle has got a chapel. And then here is the guest wing. So again, we've used stone, brick, but this time the infill, instead of being wattle and daub, which I've used white clay for there, I've used a brick infill. Over there is a brick barn. I've used acacia wood for the beams to show that they're a bit weathered and silvered. So let's go into the guest wing. So in here we've got a sort of sitting room area. We've got a dining room. Have a formal guard now here. I can't do anything about the day and night cycle, by the way, because it's on a server. And here we have a little sort of kitchen. Now if we go upstairs, we'll have some bedrooms for visiting guests. Bathroom. More bedrooms. Shelves. Again, I'm not going to go into every single room. So we've got another bathroom and the 2 bedrooms here. Now this door here, that would have been the original entrance to the keep on the first level, accessed by stairs on the outside of the keep, but this has been built up against the side of the keep, so it's made this exterior door an interior one, but we're going to go in on the ground floor instead, through here. Now the walls are 3 blocks thick. Now this is the basement of the keep, and we need a lot of pillars to hold up the weight of all of the tower above us. And we've got very small high up windows here, so it's not easy for invaders to get in. The stairs are in the thickness of the wall. Sorry if you can hear any background noise. It's in the middle of a heat wave, believe it or not, here in England right now, and it means I've got the windows open so we don't all cook to death. I'm mostly fine, but I've got pet mice, which you'll have gathered from the name of my channel is Mice and Minecraft, and I don't want the mice to get overheated, so I'm keeping it all cool for them. So this is a sitting room, and we have big bedroom here, 4-poster bed, some nice high windows, some guard robes, which is literally sort of toilet dressing room on the side. I think the ice cream truck's outside. It's every bit of my willpower not to go and get ice cream. More bedrooms here, quite a few more actually, but I'm not going to go into them all. If we go up here, we have more bedrooms again. Now in the middle here, this is actually a big pillar, which is helping to hold everything up. You see there's lots of beams and corbels holding up the structure. So we've got wooden floor there, we've actually got a wooden floor here, but I said on the last time I showed you this building when it's still partly built, we've actually got stone floor on the first floor, because invaders to the castle, if they managed to breach the ground floor, would typically set a fire and try and burn out the tower from below. So to do that, you put stone down, they can't burn stone, but you can't have stone all the way to the top, because otherwise the weight of the structure is too much. Now I need to put a throne in on this level, I think. we've got some nice big windows up here because we're much higher off the ground. It doesn't matter, but you wouldn't have had glass because glass is far too fragile and expensive. You just would have had wooden shutters and it would have been very drafty. Now above this it splits into 4 towers, a bit like Dover Castle. Now the only inauthentic bit is these bridges between the towers. This is more of a French thing. You don't really see them on English castles, but I like them, so I included them. For most of the rest of it, I've tried to keep it fairly architecturally authentic, but that was my little nod to inauthenticity. This in each of the towers is the same. I've done guards' bunk rooms in the towers, and that's pretty much all of the way up. And we've got a cap house on the top here, and then one of battlements. So that concludes the castle keep. In fact, this concludes the inner ward of the castle, and then we have the town ward, which I'm going to do now. And again, I am not going to go into every one of these buildings. I'm really not. There's so many. So you can recognise my building style as these half-timbered styles here. I've used pretty much the same building technique for each of them and mixed up the materials I use, which you'll see from my tutorial on how to build a half-timbered house. So you can use the same principles of building, but to get the variety so they don't all look absolutely identical, which is boring, just mix up the materials you're using. Just chop and change. You've got a lot of materials you can use. So instead of red brick, I've used nether brick and acacia, different woods. Now I am going to go into this building, however. Not for all the rooms, because they're not the most interesting bit. It's just, you know, generic rooms, but because of this. Now, one of the users on the server, Batman, has been helping me out here. To make it more interesting, in the cellar here, we have one of many secret tunnels. Now, bearing in mind we're on the creative server, this is all hand-built because the ground for these plots is all dirt. That's it, just soil, and then bedrock at the bottom, and that's it. So he has hand-constructed a cave. And a door. Here we go. And all of a sudden, we're somewhere else. We're in kind of a kitchen or a scullery. So where are we? I'll take a wild guess. Because that was a secret tunnel into the castle. Every castle needs a secret tunnel. Anyway, so that's one of the many tunnels. So if we go along here, got more lovely houses. I think that was one of the first ones I built on this plot. Some of the houses I made so big I realised they were a bit big to be houses, so instead I made them into shops and things. This one is a restaurant. So we've got lots of tables and chairs. And cake. Oh, and it was my birthday on Monday, and guess what? My lovely boyfriend made me a Minecraft cake for my birthday, so it looks exactly like this. That was awesome. I was such a happy Scrappy. Now here we've got the Barbican, which again is redstone portcullises. It's a bit smaller than the one on my survival plot. Oh yeah, I forgot redstone. There we go. Got rid of the glitch. So I've had some help with doing interiors on some of these. Again, we've got guards here, so they're close to the front gate when they're needed. This is part of the redstone that works portcullises. And this is the first portcullis. Okay, so we have another lovely house there, and Pinky P11 was helping me do an interior on that one, which is beautiful. This one's built by Vandrin. We nickname it the Double Wide. It's his armour shop. Arms and armoury. Another generic house built by me. And another one. Again, I've tried to do different floor plans as well, so give each house a different layout. This one's kind of an H plan, this one's a C plan, this one's just sort of staggered, this one's an L plan. So they're not all just plain square boxes. Just mix up the floor plan a bit, mix up the materials, and you'll be amazed at the variety you can get going on there. Now this one on the left, this was built by Boingidoo123. He was a really fantastic builder. It's a very sort of medieval and slightly Nordic or Scandinavian feel to these ones, and I really like them. He had the neighbouring plot to me, and he had a whole town of these type of houses built. Unfortunately, they've all been demolished now, which is quite sad, because I really like being next door to them. It's got a kitchen down here, and then lots of shelving in here. This could be like a wine cellar, I suppose. Okay, now in the middle, this big monstrosity here was a kind of an accident. I didn't mean to build it. It's not in the slightest bit medieval. The fact is, when I got 4 creative plots, this is where the 4 plots meet. They had these roads between them all to start with, and this is where the 4 roads met in the middle. And before I built anything else, I kind of wanted a light at the crossroads in the middle of the plot. But then a light became a beacon, and the beacon needed a pyramid, and the pyramid needed a temple, and before I knew what happened, this happened. Kind of by accident. But I don't really want to destroy it now. So we just kind of pretend it's not really there. Let's just pretend it's invisible. Okay, so this is a nice big hotel. I'm not going to go in because it's massive in there. But you can see from the shape of the roof it is really quite big. If I find a way, I might find a way to make this plot available for download. I'll have to look into that, and then people can download it and explore on their own. Now this house here is by Flingbing. He's one of the mods on this server, and he's a really talented builder. One of my other videos, if you have a look, is the Wizard's Tower, and that was built by Flingbing. I definitely love this one. Now yes, it looks out onto the roof of another building. Now this is quite common in medieval towns and villages. If you go to somewhere like the Shambles in York, for example, at the top of the street you can see the buildings on either side of the road nearly touch because they're so close together, because crowding in cities is a big issue. So it's fairly common for buildings to be so close together, just like these two. It was an accident, and when the 2 builders, which is Flingbing and Zalafar, realised they were going to sort of change it, I said, no, don't change it, just leave it, because it's kind of authentic like that. So this was mainly built by Zalafar. I did have to tinker with it a bit, just to make it make sense. Because it was a little bit odd as it was. Sorry, Zalafar. So we tinkered with it, put some bedrooms in, because it was just a sort of shell of a building, so I think he was a bit busy with something else. You have a sitting room, dining room, and a kitchen sort of thing there. Now this is the back gate to the castle. We have another building here, which I didn't go with any timber frame on this one, just using sort of sandstone. Again, I'm not going to go into all of these. So back down this street, you see down the side of the hotel there. I've got my forge there. Prof Unicycle built this amazing foundry for me, and I really love it. Got the crucibles pouring molten metal there, and it's setting in bars on the floor. And the furnace is going full whack behind here into the big brick chimneys. It is definitely one of my favourite buildings on the whole plot, this. I love it. Boingidoo built me this tavern. There's a tavern with sort of restaurant area and bar over here. And then some bedrooms up there. And a cellar, but I said I'm not going to go into all of them. So this terrace, I wanted some terraced houses, so they're all sort of jammed together. So I did all of these. You can sell the different style and colour to each of them. Now this one on the end here, you may be able to actually go and see this in real life, because this is based on a real building. One of the other users on this server is Yogi KB, and she lives not too far from my boyfriend down south. So sometimes we meet up when I'm down there to go to the cinema and have a day out or something. Now this is actually a building in Uxbridge, which is sort of West London area, not too far from Heathrow Airport. And the colour is the same. I was basically took a photo of it and tried to replicate the frontage of this genuine sort of medieval building. Now it's not absolutely identical, just the front with the bay windows, because the real thing is terraced. There was actually another building on this side, so I've had to make up the side aspect. I've had to invent that, and the back, and the interior, because obviously I couldn't go inside, it's all closed up, I don't know what it's like inside. But I did manage to replicate the outside, and I'm quite pleased with that. So there is this archway going through to the back, so I've just done a little courtyard back here. It is up against the exterior wall of the plot. But I'm quite pleased with the bay windows I've got going on here. Now next, I guess we're going to go in here. I've given road names to all of these as well. So there's a lovely little bridge over here. Now this corner was built by a demo man, except for the tower, which was built by me. So he's done a mill with a mill wheel, and some lovely cottages, which are really pretty. I love these. And a pond and a river. And there is my corner tower. Now, if we come back here again, this was built by Hawkswill and Batman. It's a bit random. It's kind of a marketplace sort of thing. A tent at the back, a training dummy that you can swipe out with your swords. And there's also an underground area here with secret tunnels. So I moved the bed, but there we go. Emergency escape route. Now, Batman, as far as I know, is still building these tunnels. So, which way do we go now? We go this way. Pretty sure there's a... Oh, this might be an entrance only. That I can get into from somewhere else. It's a very long tunnel. I do ideally want even more of these. Now where we're going to come out? We're going to come out up here, in the basement of another house. Might as well show you the upstairs, because this isn't one of mine. I'll just put some interior in here, so we have some bedrooms and things. So this house was built by a Super Andy 456. He didn't plan for there to be a hidden tunnel in there, that's just how it happened. So, where are we? Let's get back. So, we were in that wooden structure. So let's get back here. Now you recognise another Boingy Doo house. This is Boingy Doo's butcher's shop. This is built by The Coffee. It's an alchemist's shop. I quite like this. Now we go behind the counter and down into the cellar. It's carrying out experiments, and there's a little button down there which activates a tunnel and a glitch. So that is where that tunnel came out that I showed you earlier. It's an exit only. Now here we have Prof Unicycle built a town hall kind of thing. He built the exterior and had me do the interior. I also wanted a brewery. I thought the whole thing would be the brewery, but instead we designated this area only as the brewery area, which is connected by an archway to the main town hall, so the councillors can all go and get drunk. So in here, we've got the main distilling tank. We've got a storeroom full of barrels. Let's go up here. So there's some pipes coming out of the tank, doing various things. More pipes going up through the ceiling. Big barrels at the back. And more pipes coming up and filling these things. And more barrels. I don't think we did too well with this, sorry, too badly with this one even. Okay, next stop, the town hall. Well, actually we have a lovely park here as well, with a fountain. Now, the town hall is enormous. Like any town hall, it's absolutely ridiculously huge and complicated on the inside, which it's supposed to be. A little courtyard garden. I can show you a bit of it maybe. So we've got the reception desk, filing cabinet, some offices. Now let's go upstairs. Here we have the main function hall with some galleries. And there's a hell of a lot more to explore in here, but to go around all of this would just take forever. But you get the idea. Lots of offices, lots of things to see. Okay, so now we have, let's see, which way shall we go? Let's go back first. Umimu built a auction house for me. Now, there's no mobs on the creative section of this server, so she invented some cows, which I think are quite cute. Now back here we have the lumberyard and the sawmill, and this is built by Average Joe Gamer, complete with a splash of blood there for someone who's caught himself on the wheel, and a glitch again. Fling Bing has built this lovely all-round house here, which is very cute. Now let's go back this way for now. So we have another terrace, again built by me, mixing up the materials again. This one's got a balcony at the front there, and a little cottage here. And a little thatched hut there. So which way should we go? We've got the graveyard here. Now this is full of in-jokes from our TeamSpeak conversations such like. So a lot of people on the server are represented here with little jokes about how they died, related to things they get up to. We have like Triss, ink poisoning, flux to death. He likes drawing on his hands with ink a lot. And all sorts of random shenanigans. Some of them more safe for work than others. I do have a map here. It's not showing up so well. It's kind of a map of the plot. It's not necessarily 100% complete. It gives you an idea of the size of it. You see the little green dot there? That's where we are now, by the church. So, next we have this building, which was originally built by Triss, actually. It wasn't really very medieval. It was more fantasy, which I really was trying to avoid, so I did have to intervene. And it's not something I would have built, it's not something he would have built, it's now somewhere between the two. It's kind of a mashup of our building styles, but it is, whilst very unique, is not entirely out of place anymore. Up here we have bedrooms and balconies. And next for the church, this is loosely modelled on Durham Cathedral. So when you get to the middle, it's the transept, and then look up all the way up the tower. And then down the bottom, you remember the Celtic knot from the Great Hall? Well, Van Drin did the floor for me in this, and he replicated that design using different materials. So you can see there's balustrades here, and you can walk around up here. And further up as well. Now this isn't all. If we go down into the cellars, we have a vaulted cellar and an ossuary. Now an ossuary is where you would bury people first until the worms had cleaned all the flesh off the bones. But then, particularly in big cities and things, there wasn't enough space to bury people, at least to keep people buried. So bury people for a few years until there was just bones left, then dig them up, and then put the bones in an ossuary, because bones are more compact than the whole coffin, and then bury somebody else in the plot for a few years. So all these skulls representing an ossuary. Now some places, particularly in sort of Eastern Europe, have got really ornate ossuaries where they've made whole chandeliers and whole buildings out of human bones, which sounds really macabre, but it's really something to behold. I have been to an ossuary before. It's in Catherine's Monastery in Egypt, where the bones of all the monks had been put sort of stacked up. So this is where this idea came from. And Prof Unicycle decided he wanted his casket to be down here. Now along here we have the Wall of Fame of everyone who's helped on this plot. So let's see, in no particular order, we've got Mosaic, Eagle354, Boingy123, V Coffee, Mike24B, Pinky P11, Average Joe Gamer, Fling Bing, Super Andy456, Van Drin, Azure Butterfly, Sam Toon, Prof Unicycle, Hawkswill, Count Draken, Lucas Adler, Captain Marbles, Yogi KB, Pants, James is a Game, Fitikitty, Clarinetric 78, Zalafar, Tris13, Redstone Craft Guy, Psychimura, Omimu, Batman 201022, Z7 Demoman 7Z, Gopherboy 76, Contains Stuff, and Penabang. Those are all the people who have helped with this plot. I should add that Prof Unicycle did this lovely vault for me. So if we go out here, there's another, this is I think the first tunnel we did. And this comes out into a mausoleum which Yogi built. So these are caskets and skulls and cobwebs. You can go up into the graveyard here. Okay, next. Let's do the school next, I think. So this is a school. The blocks I've used are actually double stone slabs, which an admin gave me, mainly because I was doing lots more of these roads and it was faster than using slabs. So you have a reception area. Pinky P11 started helping me with the interior on this, and then some other people helped me to finish the interior because it was a massive job. That was the nurse's office. We've got a staff room here where staff can chill out. A little coffee pot and some mugs there. Kitchen, dining hall, art room. And then upstairs we go. This is the nursery. So we have a teacher's desk there, some tables, chairs, wash basin, hooks for coats. This is a normal classroom with blackboard at the end. We have an assembly hall here. There's a stage up here. We have the drama studio, again with a little stage at the front. We have the science lab. And then if we go upstairs again, we have more teaching rooms. We have a teacher's office here with a lovely view over here. some of the other things on the plot. And one of my favourites is this library. Now I can't take credit for this. It's got a sitting area, lots of bookshelves. I love this library, it's awesome. Okay, so let's go down again. I'm going to go to this corner. This is another one that's based on a real building. It's from one of the diagrams on my architecture books. I believe it might be a fort in Scotland, so there's only this aspect of it I could see. So what I've done is based on that and then filled in the rest and made up as I went along. So it's a little fort. A tower and a flag. There's my corner tower. Yes, there's a basketball court there. It's not really in tune with the time, but it shows that this is a playground attached to school. So this is the cellar. We can go, sorry, there's the basement. You can go down into the cellar underneath, where you have storerooms and this vaulted cellar. And this is where they're keeping the spare food and the kitchen. And sitting area here, a bedroom for the captain of the guard here. All sort of guards' bedrooms here, little guard robes. And here we can access out onto the roof. Okay, so next what we're going to do, this is the vicarage by the way, this red brick building. And that's supposed to be a conservatory on the side there. There's the back of the church. The stained glass looks much better when you're not using a texture pack. Now this is another one that's based on a real building, again from a diagram from my architecture book. I'll just get so you can see it. So this with sandstone base, and then half timbered on top, which I believe is an inn. So I've done it as an inn, so you've got a pub on the ground floor and then rooms you can rent. And up these, oh, somebody put a hole there. Why did they do that? That wasn't me. Oh, Batman is making more tunnels. Haha. Interesting. Ah. Okay. I'll probably get lost if I go in here, so I'll probably better wait and explore this another time. I'll explore that another time. That's unexpected tunnel there. So yeah, you go up here, and this is the door to the owner's apartment, which is kept separate from the rest of the inn. There are doors through, but this is entirely for the owner to live in. So we've got bedrooms up here as well. If I go through here into the main inn, I've got a bathroom and some bedrooms here that would be for rent. And then we can go down, there's a beer garden out here. Tables and chairs and flowers. And a cellar down here where the kitchen is. And that's where Batman's putting another secret tunnel into the kitchen. Okay, that answers that. Here's more of the cellar. I don't know why we have flower pots on there. I think I need to come back and put more sort of chests and things in there. So that's the beer cellar there. Okay. Another generic building. Then we have the lovely, lovely marketplace, which is built by Fling Bing. Lots of market stalls. This is the tithe barn, which I built. It's a big communal barn. There's another house there which I built. This is another terrace of 4 where each one is slightly different colours, so you can tell how they're separated up. So our sitting room, dining room here. Down in the cellar we have kitchen. And a little bathroom. And some bedrooms. 2 bedrooms there. And 2 more bedrooms on the top floor. Okay, another generic house there which I've built. Did that on a sort of cross plan. Another generic house here. Another one here, quite low lying. This is Umimu's tower, which I really like. I made a little adjustment around the side here. I put some stairs in so you can get to some sort of battlements on the corner here. We have the potato field here. This is Mike's windmill. You have to kind of spot the fail on this windmill. Have a good look at it. Why is this a windmill of fail? I'm not going to knock it down because it looks too kind of cute, but it would never work as a windmill. Put a note in the comments if you spotted why it's a windmill of fail. This is mill wheels. The interior, which I think Demo Man did. So some crops, and this sway-backed building was built by Fling Bing. This is the apothecary shop. Now the farmhouse over here, and we're nearly finished. And then here we have the town's livery stables. I have the barn and more stables and the tack room. And more glitches. The reason I've got these fence posts sticking out the wall is you can tie the horses up to them using a leash. Okay, and now that concludes the tour. So now it is finished bar Batman's extra tunnels. That is my medieval castle and town. I'll just have a fly around so you can see. Oh, nearly forgot this. Sorry, Yogi. Yogi KB built me this lovely jail and courthouse. So we've got a gibbet here with a rotten head inside it. And the crows are picking the flesh off his bones. So first of all, we're going to go upstairs into the courtroom. There we go, there's the courtroom. Got the stand there for the witnesses. Seat here with a bench for the judge. And now we've been sent down to the prison. So let's go down into the jail. There's kind of head jailer's desk there. There's somewhere holding cell where you chain people up to the walls. And then we go down into the cells. Now here we've got bloodstains on the floor, we've got benches for you to sleep on, there's a toilet in the corner, and an escape tunnel. Oh dear. The shaders really don't like the water, do they? Maybe it's across there. Ah, there we go. Got it. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're in the tunnel. Shaders really don't like water. So this is the escape tunnel from the prison. And here we have the button. Uh-oh. Escape. Oof. There we go. Right, so now we're in a cellar. So it's a wine cellar. Lots of niches to put the bottles of wine. Lots of shelving, there's lots of storage here. So where have we come out? Well, we're in a wine cellar at the vicarage. Ta-da! So over here, behind the beer garden, just so we have some entertainment while you have your lunch. We have the gallows, the working trapdoor. So it really doesn't like redstone. Ugh. Glitches everywhere. And then we have the guillotine. Now I'm going to put back on this just so I can see what I'm doing. It's a bit easier. So the guillotine, the convicted person goes here, you knock out that, they get an anvil on the heads, and you get a massive glitch again. Ugh. Anyway, that's how I made. Oops. I need a fresh head now. Let's get a Steve head. There we go. That's the head in the bucket. There we go. So. Oh dear. Oh, I need wooden steps as well. I'm breaking all the things. Sorry, Yogi. There we go, that's much better now. So yeah, that is everything on the plot now. On this lovely clock tower. And Porphyria cycle built. So this has taken approximately a year's worth of work for me, with occasional help, as I said, from other people I've coerced into assisting. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope it's inspired you to build something of your own in a similar style. And if you have, by all means, feel free to pop a link in the comments so I can have a look. Thanks for coming with me on this tour, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!